Hey everybody, Shoebox Legends here. Thanks for joining me today for a catch-all episode of sorts here on the channel. Want to talk a little bit about recent goings-on here at Shoebox Legends World Headquarters, as well as go over some cards here that are on the desk and get those kind of cleared and just have a little bit of discussion and show and tell. So it's been a little bit of some ups and downs over the last few weeks, so you may have noticed that I've been a little bit more absent than usual with respect to commenting or uploading content here on the platform. It's not because I'm not enjoying the hobby, because I am, or that I don't have a ton of awesome cards to show off, because I do. Just been dealing with a couple things. So we'll start with some positive. I just wanted to follow up on the Jim Rice encounter that I did a video about a couple weeks back, but was fortunate enough to catch a game in the Legends Suite at Fenway. Got to meet Jim Rice. He autographed this ball for me, caught a ball during batting practice up on the Green Monster, which you see there. And I told that story in a video a couple weeks ago and showed a picture at the end of Jim and I. Wicked cool guy. But just to follow up on that, there was a Topps Now card that happened to be produced for that game that I was at Fenway Park. And this is, I think, maybe only the second time that I've been to a game live and then had a Topps Now card produced from that game. So when that occurs, do try to snatch one up. And I'm going to get this one out of its plastic here. I go to probably 4 or 5 games a year, but it's pretty rare to see something that Topps, chooses for the Now set. And in this game back on August 10th that I met Jim Rice at was the Major League debut of Atlanta Braves prospect Vaughn Grissom. And so this guy made his debut that night, as it says on the card, and hit a home run and stole a base. Became, I think, the youngest player in Major League history to hit a homer and steal a base in his debut. So this guy's only 21 years old. He certainly looked impressive in person that night, launching that home run into center field. Definitely looks like a talented kid. So far, he's only played like 30 games as I'm shooting this video. He's already got 5 home runs, I think 16 RBI. His batting average is well over 300. He's got an OPS somewhere near 850. And for those of you like next gen stat geeks, his WAR is like 1.3 WAR after just 30 games. So that's, if you multiply that out by a normal 150, 160 game season, that's like a 7 or 8 WAR season. So he seems like kind of the real deal. It's kind of cool that I got to see his Major League debut. Whether or not he goes on to do anything in his career, it'll just be cool to have this card as sort of another little token of my evening there in the suite and meeting Jim Rice. So scoop that up for like $4 on eBay. Took a little while for Topps to print that up, but just got it in the last week. I've been away quite a bit. I mentioned some ups and downs, so that was kind of a positive experience. On the negative side of things, the primary reason I've been creating less content and consuming less of your content over the last week is my finished basement flooded on Labor Day here at Shoebox Legends World Headquarters. It was due to an insane rainstorm where we got like 13 inches of rain in one day or something like that, which long story short means I don't get any insurance help and I got to eat the cost of gutting the whole basement and cleaning it and all of that fun. So that's pulled me away quite a bit from YouTube over the last week. Happy to get back to having a few minutes here without contractors and sawzalls going off in my home to record a video and enjoy the hobby for a little bit. One of the silver linings of that, of course, could have bought a lot of cardboard with the amount of money that it's going to cost me to get this basement, back to where I want it to be. But one of the small silver linings, I found a couple of gems when I was cleaning up in the basement from my childhood collection. Here's a sweet one. Check out this Bo Jackson Bo-Nose hockey pictured here with the Montreal Canadiens. Love it. Got the Bo-Nose hockey back. He's got the Titan stick, wooden stick that Gretzky used to play with back in the day. Just love it. These types of like Broder cards or homemade cards back in the late 80s, early 90s were just so awesome. I remember picking these up at hobby shops with my brothers and my father and adding these into the collection. So it was pretty pumped to find that Bo-Nose hockey card. And then right alongside that in the same stack, actually, in the basement, found this Bart Nose hockey, where for some reason Bart Simpson got associated with Bo Nose, and then they made a bunch of Bart Nose cards. And so this is a Bart Nose hockey card right here. No idea who made this. There's zero information on the card anywhere about a copyright, or because it probably wasn't protected by copyright or a creator or anything like that. But just two completely worthless cards from my youth that just kind of bring back some memories. And so of all the misery spent going through the basement over the last week, that was at least a small silver lining, as I said, getting a chuckle out of those cards. As far as what I've been doing in the hobby, have a couple other pickups. Did show recently my first and still only at this point PSA submission that I did earlier this year with my buddy JT over at Triple Crown 24. Subbed 4, I guess, modern cards, got those back. And one of them was a Novak Djokovic tennis rookie from like 2007 Ace Tennis. Bought it kind of just purely out of speculation for about $22. Paid like another $23 to have it graded. So I was into the card for about $45. Well, decided I wanted to part with it, listed it, and sold it on eBay at auction, ending on a Sunday night, and cleared the $300 mark with the Novak Djokovic rookie. Really, really happy with that, obviously. Used that money to buy a big soccer card that had been eating at me. And I do have some more baseball to come after this, so don't let this soccer card scare you away. But I got this pretty significant, in my opinion, card. This is Erling Haaland's true rookie card from 2019 Topps Chrome Bundesliga. I have heard it said, and a few hobby buddies of mine that are knowledgeable about this, Peeps and Eric over at Those Back Pages, everybody seems to be in agreement that there were only about 4,000 copies of this card produced. And this guy is just an amazing, amazing talent. In my opinion, you know, where Messi and Ronaldo have been the best two players on earth over the last 15 to 20 years, I think Erling Haaland and Kylian Mbappe out of France are poised to be sort of the next generation of Messi versus Ronaldo in the debate about who the greatest footballers are on the globe. So this guy's a monster. He came up in the Bundesliga, obviously, as you can tell by this card. And recently, you know, just this past offseason, signed with Manchester City in the Premier League. And that is my league of choice. Love the Premier League. Man City is a powerhouse team in that league. And so far, this guy has been as advertised. So I was kind of feeling like I've had this card specifically on my mind for about 2 years now, as I've watched him sort of ascend to the top tier of football players. And I was getting the feeling that this rookie card, which was priced in a PSA 9 like this at around $250 at the time, was going to soon be beyond my reach and kind of explode well beyond that $250 price point. And so I took advantage of the sale of that tennis card, used the opportunity to pick up that Erling Haaland rookie. And he has been as advertised so far for Man City. I think he's played like 7 games with them between the Champions League and the Premier League, and he has like 12 goals in 7 games. So I think this guy is, you know, one of the faces of the future of global football, and just very, very happy to have that rookie card in the collection. I can kind of breathe a sigh of relief when I see him on the score sheet every week now, knowing that I have that rookie card. So really pleased with giving up that tennis card in exchange for that. And I actually had enough money left over, even after fees and everything, to get another graded card out of that tennis card sale. And we'll see that in a few minutes here to end today's episode. Before we get to that, though, I have one other one of interest. I've been getting into some baseball books on Audible of late that have been recommended to me by my buddy Dylan over at Double D Vintage Baseball Cards. I've been an Audible addict for years, but for whatever reason, didn't do a lot of sports books. But I have been checking one out recently called the Baseball 100 by Joe Posnanski. And it's basically an attempt to, you know, classify the 100 best players in the history of Major League Baseball. And I think, you know, it's obviously something that anybody would criticize anyone's list. You're never going to get it perfect. But so far, I'm about 20 names in. I think I'm right around number 80 on the countdown, which starts at 100. And I'm just loving it. And I'm learning a ton every time I listen to this. And one of the names that I knew very little about and that left me kind of impressed after hearing his particular chapter was Bullet Joe Rogan. And so afterwards, I got on the search for a Bullet Joe Rogan card. And he was sort of a dual pitching and offensive threat in the Negro Leagues. A very, very effective player on both fronts. Obviously, the Negro League statistics are not and never will be, perfect or anywhere near as complete as Major League statistics. They just did a lot of barnstorming and, poor record keeping and playing against town teams and company teams. And there's really never going to be a complete historical picture of the Negro League statistics. But they've come a great way on that front over the last couple decades. There's a few projects that are kind of trying to do the best job they can at restoring and at least getting some of those statistics into scope. And by some estimations, Bullet Joe Rogan is the all-time wins leader in the Negro League for pitching. And so he was a very, very effective pitcher, but he was also an incredible hitter as well. And in some instances is thought of as like a top 5 offensive player in Negro League history, in addition to being that type of a pitcher. So he almost, it's probably not fair of me to say, and I'm very ignorant here, I'm just trying to learn, but he almost strikes me as like a Babe Ruth of the Negro Leagues type, in that he was just so talented on both sides of the ball. And so I became fascinated with this guy. Obviously, there weren't really Negro League cards created during any of these guys' playing careers. And as far as I can tell from the research I've done and the searching, I think this Ted Williams card of Bullet Joe Rogan might be like his only sort of standard official trading card. So I had to grab this. I really wanted Bullet Rogan in my collection after learning about him. I think, anyone who an argument can be made that they're in the top 100 baseball players of all time certainly has a place in my collection. And so found a seller that had a pair of these for $1 each with free shipping, and picked up both of those. So guess I can call my Bullet Joe Rogan player collection complete after that purchase. Pretty happy with that. I would love for like Helmar or somebody who does independent art, maybe Scott at Reindeer Studios, to do like a Bullet Joe Rogan card, like custom card or something. I'd be really into that. But for now, I'll take that Ted Williams. And then the last card of the day, and we'll wind it down here. I did mention in a recent video where I showed off this Desert Shield Carlton Fisk card, and I got quite a bit of feedback in the comments, and understandably so, about what a great card it is. As I mentioned in the video where I showed it, it's one of my favorite images on any card from like the junk wax era. I just think it's fantastic. And so a couple of the other comments mentioned something that I've noticed in the past as well, and that is, Fisk has a lot of really nice looking baseball cards just in general. He's one of those players who just really lucked out when it came to his baseball card releases. In addition to being very successful on the diamond, he just got gorgeous looking cards. And he's not that expensive for a Hall of Famer. He's a local New England guy. And it kind of got me thinking more, I should really pick up some more Carlton Fisk. So I am going to add him into the mix. It's not my top priority, but I am going to sort of player collect a little bit informally Carlton Fisk and try to get some of his other, playing era cards, preferably slabbed. And I found one that I just couldn't pass up. Was able to get this for less than $20 shipped to my door. And again, used the funds from the tennis card sale to cover this. So really didn't cost me anything. It's one of my other favorite images on any Fisk card. It's from my birth year. It is the 1982 Topps In Action subset card of Carlton Fisk. So of course, a lot of the big stars of the day in the 82 set got a standard card, and then immediately after that on the checklist got an In Action card. And the photo for this one just says it all, but it's a super memorable card. I think, to me, this is one of the better photos on any Topps flagship baseball card of the 1980s. Obviously, there are a lot of good candidates there, but I'd put this Fisk photograph and the way that this is framed on the card. It's perfect for a horizontally oriented card like this, and I would put this up against just about any photograph from an 80s Topps card. So I knew kind of once I made the decision that I wanted to track down some additional Carlton Fisk cards, I knew that this 82 In Action was going to be towards the top of that list, and was very, very pleased to find this in a PSA 9 delivered to my door for less money than it takes to sub a card to PSA right now. So pretty pleased with that. Probably more Carlton Fisk coming in the future on the channel. But for now, we just have that one for today. And that's going to kind of wrap up my hodgepodge and catch up here of what I've been up to the last couple weeks or week or two while I've been kind of distracted and away from the platform. I appreciate you stopping by to check in. I hope something in today's episode was of interest to you. And I'll certainly be back very soon, but I'm probably off to check the basement here, make sure we don't have any water in today's rainstorm. Until next time, stay safe and enjoy the hobby.